difference for you? You talk about desperate teams at this time.
Yeah.
Two different types, right? The teams that are fighting for a playoff spot, the teams that are fighting for a job. Do you see any difference in the style of play when you're facing the different types?
No, not really. I mean, both are desperate, so you have that desperation level. I think when you're not in a playoff spot, you probably, the danger is, they're probably a little looser. They can take a few more chances. They're playing a desperate game, but a looser desperate game, which sometimes is more dangerous than the teams that are playing a tight game, willing to win 2-1, 1-0 because they're looking for a playoff spot. So, they each present their own problems, but listen, I had Sidney Crosby at the Four Nations. Any team with Sidney Crosby on it, regardless of where they're at in the standings, is going to come out and compete and play the right way. So we've got to be ready for that.
Pete, there are winning streaks you have during the season, and now you have one at the end of the season. How important is it to have this streak right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure the winning streak. I think the fact, like, a record from January on is really good. I think it's important that we've been playing winning hockey, for an extended period, not just a short winning streak or a mid-winning streak. We've been playing winning hockey for a while here, and I think that's an important thing that our group has grasped the second half, the importance of going into the playoffs playing winning hockey. And we've had some bumps in the road. We've found ways to win games. We've been resilient. It hasn't always been pretty, but I think we're building our game, the detail in our game, back up here recently, which is a good thing.
Does it matter how you win at this time of the year?
I think so. Yeah, I think it matters how you win. From a coaching perspective, I think it always matters how you win. But you also have to keep in mind this is a hard league to win in, and you've got to win all kinds of different ways over an 82-game season. You're not always going to win the vision the coach has for how a win should look, and you have to give the group credit for finding different ways to win on the nights when it maybe hasn't been perfect.
The experience you had being on Crosby's side of things in Four Nations, can that help you at all preparing against him?
No, there's no preparing for him. I'm just amazed at the level he plays still at. I'm amazed at the work ethic and the preparation. We were at the Four Nations and we flew to, after the Montreal Saturday night game 2 against the U.S. We had a snowstorm, flights delayed. We got in, I think, at 7 a.m. and we had optional ice the next day, early afternoon, and he was skating. He leads by example. He lives the game. He lives, with that leadership. You can just tell it's all consuming for him, hockey, and it's impressive to be around and see.
It'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about what you thought about Alexander Ovechkin and time.
I thought you were going to ask me if I went to the optional.
I know better than that, Pete.
Well, I mean, again, another guy. I feel very fortunate that I grew up in the era where I got to watch Gretzky and Mario play, and then I got to coach in the era when Crosby and Ovechkin came through. So, I feel very fortunate from a hockey perspective that I had a front seat for both those eras, because I think they're both, when you look back at the history of the game, they're both going to be really special.
What's the first thing you think of when someone says Wyatt Johnston?
I think just winning. I think he plays a winning type game. He never cheats for his offense. He kills penalties, he blocks shots, he takes face-offs, he can check, and then he's on that list of some of the youngest players in the league to ever have back-to-back 30-goal years. So, quite a resume for a young guy.
With what you guys have built the last couple of years, does a win streak this year feel different than it might have a couple of years ago? Core's older, you guys have been through a lot more.
Yeah. You know, I think in this league you never take for granted a win streak. You know, they're really hard to come by, especially this time of year. You know, to get on a win streak at a critical time of year like this, where everybody's playing for something, and you know, games matter more. You know, I think we have a group now, I think, that expects to win every night, and you know, I think they go out there with that approach.
How important is it to put 2 points up on the board today and then sit back and watch the rest of the standings?
Yeah. Well, it's important, you know. I mean, you know, we know the standings, we know where we are. You know, we're trying to hunt down Winnipeg, obviously, and put some pressure on them and make sure that game next week has some meaning. So, yeah, it's important.
Any
Down
update
the-
on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Down the stretch here, as you balance wanting to win and still win the division, and getting your game in place, but how do you kind of balance that with making sure guys get in the lineup and are fresh for the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, I think you trust your depth. You know, I honestly, I don't think rotating the group of guys that we've rotated in and out jeopardizes our chance of winning, and that's the ultimate testament to our depth. You know, it's not like I'm going, okay, I want to rest Jamie Benn tonight and I'm going to throw Blackwell in, you know, but it might cost us a game. You know, I don't feel that way. I feel like all those depth guys can come in and help us win. So, you know, I don't, it's a nice feeling to have that type of depth.
Any update on Miro?
No, same skating, you know, and slowly coming along, but still a long way off.
What about Jamie for tomorrow?
I would say probable. He's traveling with us, and so I would say probable.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.